But what brings us all together and ties us all together is our drive to keep the history and traditions of the old cavalry alive. At the end of the day, I think the big reason everyone comes here, it's all about the horses and preserving the traditions of the cavalry.
We're trying to preserve what was done, the start of the cavalry, and we're trying to remember soldiers that served in the cavalry. So that's our mission, and to pass that on to the next generations, because you don't want to lose it.
This is as close as you can get to living actual history. So we preserve the tradition and history of the 1901 cavalry troopers. I am wearing the uniform of a 1901 cavalry trooper. I'm riding in the same saddle that a trooper rode in the early 1900s. The type of horses and the coloration of horses that I'm riding on are similar to they were in the early 1900s. This is living history. And it's very important for us not to forget that critical moment in history, because at one time, the soldiers of the United States Army were considered the masters of horse around the entire world.
These people that see these soldiers mounted, you know, they get pretty teary-eyed. You know, it just means so much that they can see active duty soldiers participating in this competition and, you know, preserving history.
And it usually, not always, but many, many times, if they don't place well in military horsemanship, they don't place very well in the other events, pistol, saber, and jumping, because they haven't got their basics down yet. Yes, combat horsemanship is very popular. What they need to do with combat horsemanship is they have to be able to demonstrate proficiency with the 45-70 trapdoor carbine and the 6-shot revolver, and also their saber. And then they need to be able to demonstrate that they can back through obstacles, L's, and down a 2x4, so that the horse can operate in combat.
The saber course is a course where we pit the trooper and his mount against targets in time. And what they are expected to do is to execute the course, engage every target, and then not have any misses and not have any faults.
In the pistol course, they have to complete a course with multiple changes of direction, going over obstacles, jumps, water hazards, and it's based on accuracy.
The horse is a natural object. It's not years in mechanics. It's bone, blood, and sinew. And you're not just connecting to a mindless object. You are connecting to something that has its own spirit, its own will, its own determination. And to reach out and grab that and harness it and to get it to agree with you to do what you want it to do is one of the best feelings in the world. It's like dancing a flawless waltz.
So taking care of the horses and getting them ready for the competition is the foundation of everything. If you don't take care of a horse, they're not going to be able to perform at their best. They're not going to want to perform. They're not going to want to make you happy, which is a big thing with horses. They want to make you happy. They love you as much as we love them. And if you're not taking care of a horse in that relationship properly, they're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to perform. And we pride ourselves on how well we take care of our horses, and they are some very happy horses there. So I was in an infantry unit before I was in the horse cavalry detachment, and it was during one of a ceremony one day, and we got to see, after standing at parade rest in the hot sun baking, we see the horse cavalry detachment in the cavalry uniforms come screaming across the field on horseback, firing off pistols in the air, shouting, yelling, and as the Apaches flew overhead, over top of them, the cannon goes off. It was this whole crazy, amazing thing, and it just inspired me like nothing else. And I heard they were a thing that you could actually go join, and they were recruiting, and I raised my hand and got there just about as fast as I could. And I was lucky enough to got to go, and I've got to put in the effort of training and passing all the tests to actually be able to get the luxury and privilege to be in the horse cavalry detachment.
I've been with B Troop since 2002, so I guess that's about 21 years. I started in the ladies auxiliary, just riding side saddles and taking care of horses, until 2010, when females were allowed to become troopers. At the time, I was just happy to ride, and it came from the history of B Troop being very authentic, geldings of hardy color, authentic tack, authentic uniforms, and of course, male riders. Over the time, we were acknowledged and allowed to ride as troopers. So it was very, very exciting and just a change, but it all came gradually.
When I joined the horse detachment, I remember like the day that I went to my leadership and I told them like, hey, I can't do this, you know. And they asked me like, what's going on? What happened, man? I'm scared, man. They talked to me and they asked me, you know, we can help you, you know. And I was like, yeah, okay. I'm gonna try one more time, you know, and let's see what happened, you know. So the next day, I remember I took my horse, one of the horses, I put the saddle on, and then I mount and I say, let's go. And it was a little bit crazy when I got the bugle on me, you know, because we had a bugler, and then he was trying to like play, you know, play charge, I remember. And then I asked him like, hey, can I try? And they told me no, because they were busy with it, you know. And then second time, I asked him like, hey, can I try to play? And they told me like, no, hold on. And then I asked him like for third time, and they told me like, yes, we're done. Now you can try it. And then I took the bugle, I took the mouthpiece, I put it on, and I started playing. They went straight to the first sergeant, and they told him like, hey, we found the bugler. And he was like, you're kidding, right? No. People think sometimes like you're teaching the horses how to do something, and to be honest, like most of the times the horses are like teaching you. They give you like confidence. That's the first thing that I'll say. They give to you, you know, that confidence, and not only for riding in general, you know, for your life in general, you know, like you're confident like when you're gonna do something, whatever task in your life, so you feel more like, yes, I'm gonna do it, you know.
Every troop I know of in the Army, at least, will teach you how to ride and do it well, do it effectively. I would also tell you, don't let your fears dictate your future.
There are many things that you can do in the Army, not besides just your job. And if you have a desire to do it, try out for it. Give it a try, even if you've never been around a horse. As Will Rogers always said, one of his euphemisms was, the outside of a horse is good for the inside of a man. And it's therapeutic being around horses, even if you're not riding them, if you're just ground crew and helping.
Any unit in the armed forces always needs support in order to be mission successful. What is unique about the Horse Cavalry detachments is they are given a no-fail mission where you can't just have a horse that isn't cared for. If you have a Humvee and you have to order a part for it, it can sit in the motor pool for 2 weeks and nothing bad is going to happen to that vehicle. But if a horse needs care and support, you have to give it that second. Otherwise, that horse will be neglected and can have serious health ramifications. I think all of the horse units across the Army right now, more than ever as budgets tighten, need that support for that no-fail mission of caring for these living, breathing animals that are the lifeblood of our history and our ties to our forefathers hundreds of years ago.
So this is a good opportunity to exchange ideas and just bond, because we're all in this together, and we're all historical units, and we're all in danger of becoming extinct.
990,000 horses died serving our country from 1776 to 1948. That's how important a horse was. So we can't forget the horse. We shouldn't.